Howdy, who all my stock market gamblers? Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. Well, what's going on in the markets? Now we're kind of going sideways, right? I mean, we're really going nowhere fast. We have a big down day, then a big up day, then a big down day. But for the last 6-7 weeks, we just been moving sideways. We did drop below the 20-day on the S&P, but the algorithms, they kicked right back in and pushed us right above it. We have to stay below the 20-day if this market is going to come in. Now, I do believe it's going to come in. Let me explain why. Now, at the beginning of the year, stock market expected 6 or 7 rate cuts this year, 6 or 7 rate cuts in 2024. Now, we already we're taking the June rate cut off the table, right? I mean, that hot inflation number is going to take the June rate cut off. They're going to push the rate cuts out till at least September, which means you're only going to get 1, maybe 2 rate cuts. So they were expecting 6 or 7 at the beginning of the year. It's been reduced to 1 or 2. And what's the market done? Well, it's done nothing but go up, go up, go up. It hasn't adjusted from 7 rate cuts down to 1. 7 rate cuts down to 1 should mean the market is going to come back in. That's why I know that the rug pull is going to happen. It's not that far away. We'll see how that all plays out. That's just my take. I know the Moon Boys think we're going to head straight up, and so far they've been right. Every time we dip below the 20-day, algorithms kick in and we take off to the moon again. Okay, let's get over to what I want to talk about today. Now, I know it's Friday. Sometimes I bring the scary stuff. I don't mean to scare anybody before the weekend, but we do have to talk about this a little bit. So the CPI number comes out, right? And when Jerome was looking at those numbers, I mean, he was just, oh no. I mean, he's in a lot of trouble. You don't want to be Jerome right now. Now, I have no respect for the Fed whatsoever. I mean, I think they should be abolished. I think we should get rid of them. But they have a big problem right now, and they're going to get blamed for this. There's no way out, right? There's no way out. Okay, so we're here at 5.25. I don't even know the exact number, but we're here, right? And the market was expecting them to cut rates, but they may actually have to raise rates. Why? Well, because inflation numbers are soaring. They're not headed to 2%. They're headed back to 8 or 9%. And that's just the way they measure it. I mean, right now, they're already admitting what, 4%, right? Or double their target. So they're expecting it to come down to 2% magically? I don't think so. Now, the reason it's not coming down is because their numbers lie, right? It's not 4%. It's minimum of 8 to 10% inflation right now. If you measured the way they do back in the 1980s, which was real inflation, we'd be running about 8 to 10%. When you have the Fed funds rate at 5%, you're not killing off inflation. Inflation's going, yeah, baby, we win, we win, we win. It's going to head back to 8 past 9%. I'm telling you, a year from now, you're not going to recognize our country a year from now. It's going to be what I would call a 10-10-10. And that on a scale of 1 to 10, it's not going to be a 10. The economy, that's what the mainstream media wants to tell you, that the economy would be a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. But what I'm talking about is you're going to have over 10% inflation. By the way they measure it, you're going to have over 10% unemployment by the way they measure it, and you're going to have a 10% plus mortgage rate. Okay, that would be the 10-10-10 economy that I see coming. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but I would love to be wrong. Look, I know that everybody thinks things are great right now, right? I'm telling you to build the ARK. But Mike, it's sunny outside. Why should we build an ARK? Because the rain is coming. The rain is coming. People laughed at Noah when he was building that ARK in the sunshine. But what happened? The rain came. The rain's going to come down. Build your ARK now. Look at, okay, so let's talk a little bit more right now. Okay, so we got the CPI number come out running hot about 4%, let's call it, and it's really 8, right? Okay, now they can't raise the rate. There's a problem, but look at what if we start taking off to 8, 9, 10% on inflation? Is that possible? Yes, that is possible. Okay, now what happens? Well, they would have to at some point try to combat this. So let's say they have to raise from 5 5% up to 10% on the Fed funds rate. But Mike, they can't do that. Well, what should they do? Just let us hyperinflate? And they may. That may be an option for them. I'm not ruling that out. We're real close to hyperinflating now. Look at the bull market in commodities. You got everything going up. You got oil going up. You got gold going up. You got the agricultural, the food just skyrocketing. Everything's going up. Cocoa, what is that? They can't even find cocoa anymore. Over $10,000 now. I used to trade cocoa. That used to be my favorite market to trade. I traded when it's down here at 600. Now it's 10,000. That's just crazy. Food prices are going to be going off the chart. And they're talking about cutting into the biggest bull run commodities have ever seen. Good luck with that. So let's say they did want to fight inflation. Now let's say they raised it to 10%, or maybe like Paul Volcker, they did it all the way up to 20% to really club this inflation down. Well, what happens? Well, every bank goes out of business immediately, right? Immediately. I mean, they can't handle that rate. They can barely handle 5. We're going to get a third of the banks going out of business at 5%, but at 10%, they're all going to go down. But here's the thing. Let's take a look at this. I could teach this to a 5th grader, but I can't teach it to Jerome. Jerome, he doesn't want to learn, right? Okay, so we're at 5% now. We got $35 trillion in debt. Does not count the $120 trillion in unfunded for Social Security and Medicare. Doesn't count that. I'm just counting the $35 trillion. Let's say we have to raise rates to 10% because inflation starts running 12, 14, 16%. So they get gutsy. We're going to raise it up to 10%. Okay, you raise it up to 10%. What happens? Well, that would be $3.5 trillion every year just in interest payments on $35 trillion. 5th grader can do that math, right? 10% interest on $35 trillion, $3.5 trillion a year. Guess what? That's all the money we bring in. Now, I've been told that we're not going to get to that number for another 5 to 10 years. It could happen this year. That's how scary this stuff is getting. So now what? They had to go to 20%. 20%, but Mike, that's completely impossible. That's what Volcker had to do, right? He had to do that to get rid of inflation. Would you rather have us just hyperinflate away? Now, here's the thing. You see, who does hyperinflation hurt? Does it hurt the rich? No. Hurt the rich that much. Who's it hurt? Hurts the poor. They can't buy food. Hurts the middle class. They can't make their payments. They go homeless, right? But the rich keep getting richer, right? Now, I remember back, I'm a kind of an older guy. Back in the day, right? Back in the day when you could go out and you could start a business, right? You could work hard. You'd create stuff. You'd produce things. You'd make a profit, right? I mean, we'd take calculated risks and you'd be rewarded for that. And that's how you got rich back in the day. You see, by hard work, by calculated risk, by starting your own business. You don't get rich by that today. No. Forget all that. Forget what they taught you in school. Well, you new people, you're just being taught socialism. So anyways, see, I don't want socialism, right? I want the younger generation to have the chance to do what we did. We got to go out, take the risk, put in the work, and be rewarded. I didn't want things handed to me. Everybody wants things handed to you. But today, the way that wealth is created, the way wealth's created today is by inflation, right? Okay, who got wealthy in the pandemic? Well, all the billionaires, they doubled and tripled their money. Did your savings double and triple? No, because you're not a billionaire holding on all the assets that went up, right? You are not one of them. You're not in that club. Well, maybe you are. I hope you are, but I don't think you are. That's the Bezos club. That's the Buffett club. That's the Elon Musk club. They're net worth just skyrocketed. Why? Because we printed $10 trillion. That's what inflation is. It's the printing of money. You print enough money, those billionaires are going to get very wealthy. Who's going to get hurt? Well, the poor people, they're going to die off, right? They can't buy food anymore. Suicide rate way up. This is so sad, right? Middle class is just getting devastated. They don't even see what's coming yet, though. This is weird. This week, I had 2 of my friends call me up asking if I knew anybody that had a job opening that they could fill. Now, first of all, the reason that's odd is I don't have that many friends. So the fact that 2 of them this week called me and got laid off. They're looking for work and they can't find any. Put out 50, 70 resumes already and not one call back. Times are changing. Times are changing. Okay. Now, man, in my younger years, I might have been able to help them. I was more connected in the business world. Right now, I don't know anybody that's hiring, but 2 people getting laid off. These were both salespeople. I go, well, how could that be? And well, one, he works for a company. You know what their idea is? To cut costs, get rid of the whole sales department. Well, something tells me that's not going to be good for the future. See, the sales department's what makes everything happen. Brings in the business, brings in the future business, but they can't afford to pay them, so they let the whole department go. The other one was in a corporate downsizing layoff. But they called me up looking for work. I mean, it's very sad. A lot of people are going to get hurt. Look, at when you lose your job, and these both have houses, they got mortgage payments. What are they going to do? They can't find the work. They're going to dump that house on the market if they still have any equity left in it. One I know has a HELOC already on it. He's got the loan, he's got a HELOC, and now he's running out of money and he's looking for work. That is not a good sign, but that's what the economy is coming to. So this getting rich by inflating assets has to stop. It's just not the way to do it. But you see what happens when we raise the rate 10%, right? 3.5 trillion goes to just the interest payment. So we bring in about 3.5 trillion in taxes. That goes to interest payment. Well, guess how they're going to run the government, how they're going to run, the Social Security, how they're going to run the Medicare, how are they going to run the military, how are they going to run all the free socialized services. Guess what? They're going to print more money. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 trillion. I'm talking about 5 to 10 trillion a year. Now, what does that do? It brings more inflation, more inflation. It's a cycle. You see, you raise rates, the tax bill goes up, right? The interest, so you don't have money to run the government, so you print more, which brings more inflation. They have to raise the rate higher and higher. It's kind of a death cycle that we're going into. It's not going to end well, but but eventually I could see rates going up to, they have to get them up to 20%, like Volcker did. It's going to happen again. People say, but Mike, that's impossible. We'll all be in trouble. We are all in trouble now. But mark my words, these are the good times. Enjoy these times. Go out this weekend, do something fun. But the bad stuff is coming and nobody sees it coming. Me and you, we see it coming. We're trying to build that ARK. Look at the price of gold. It's telling you something. It's telling you they're getting ready to reset the dollar. The dollar's going to go away as completely worthless eventually. Build yourself an ARK. If you're not rich, go out and buy an ounce of silver this weekend. But Mike, 1 ounce won't help me. Well, it'll be a start. Maybe next week you buy another ounce. You got to start to build the ARK. Get some extra food. I hear that there's going to be food insecurity. That's coming down the line, right? You got to have a little extra food, a little extra water. Maybe some ammo is going to come in handy, right? But start building the ARK. I know it's sunny out. It's sunny out there. I see the sunshine. I don't want to spend all my money on building the ARK, but I see what's coming, and I think it's common sense. I think it's right in front of us all. A lot of people don't want to see it. They just stick their head in the sand, and they go out and they do what they normally do. They take their lavish vacations, go farther and farther into debt. Debt's increasing. Credit card rates 23%, but yet they're still booming at a record high, record high, record high, record high. Look, this is not going to end. Well, you got to build the ARK. Start building your ARK. If you're poor, start with 1 ounce. 1 ounce of silver. It's a commodity. It's an asset. It's the cheapest asset on the planet. You can still get one under $30, I believe. You can still get one, although it's shooting up $1 a day, right? And maybe it has a pullback. I'm not saying it's going to go straight up. Gold's not going to go straight up. I'd love to see gold pull back below 2,000. I don't think it's headed that way. I think it's headed to 2,500 and then 3,000. I think 2,000's out of the question. But maybe we get lucky. Maybe we get a chance to buy it then. If you see it then, I'm jumping in with both hands, right? I'm loading the truck. Get some of that stuff. Build the ARK. Build the ARK. The rain. The rain is coming. Anybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up. Why not? Punch the subscribe button. Get out there. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk again on Monday. Bye-bye now.